As August the 13th rapidly approaches, that, of course, being the date where the Pixel 9 series of devices will be fully announced by Google, in addition to watches and earbuds and all sorts of other fun things, we do already know an obscene amount about the Pixel 9 devices, and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold has not escaped that scrutiny. But today, I'm going to talk about the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, aka the Pixel Fold 2, and I've got some things to share that maybe haven't been shared just yet. Now, I do want to say, take all of this with a pinch of salt because these are unconfirmed reports. I cannot verify the truth of these claims. All I can do is pass them on to you, and I do feel quite strongly that they are indeed accurate, but I have no way to prove that to you. I have no way to show you why it is I think that these claims are accurate. That being said, let's jump into them. And if you want to see some of these things early, go follow me on Threads because I do tend to post these things in these little organized posts to help me make these videos and formulate my thoughts a little bit later. So the first aspect of this that I want to talk about is going to be the weight of the device. We have seen renders and we have seen dimensions for quite some time of this Pixel 9 Pro Fold. It is meant to be quite thin and is basically going to be a OnePlus Open. If you want to know the dimensions and the thickness and all of these sorts of things, it's going to be really, really, really close to this. If you've held or used a OnePlus Open, you have almost held and used the physical dimensions of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But one thing that I have not seen, I Googled it, I looked around, and I didn't see anybody talking about the weight. So maybe we're breaking news here, maybe we're not, I don't know, but I'm being told it is approximately 259 grams. Now, yes, that is a pretty substantial drop from the 283 grams of the current Pixel Fold, which is quite brick-like, but that does not quite bring it in line with the OnePlus Open or the Z Fold 6, which are both 239 grams. Definitely a big step in the right direction, though, and I think that's a pretty solid improvement. Moving on, there's a feature that I get asked about all the time. People say, Shane, what happened to Zoom Enhance? They announced this alongside the Pixel 8 devices, but it never arrived. If you don't remember what Zoom Enhance is, it's actually playing on the screen right now. Basically, you can pinch to zoom into a photo you already took, and it's going to use an on-device large language model to generate effectively that missing data. You take a picture and you zoom way in, your pixels basically are getting really big and blocky, and you're missing data, right? So it's going to use that generative AI to fill in the blanks and give you a much higher quality zoomed in image. I'm told that this feature is set to finally arrive with the Pixel 9 devices, and that might be very fortunate for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold because that zoom sensor is staying the same, and it's a fairly small sensor, not a great sensor, so still 5x optical, but that might really help things improve when it comes to that camera performance. Speaking of that camera performance, I can confirm that, yes, indeed, the leaks appear to be true. The camera sensors in the Pixel 9 Pro Fold are not necessarily the greatest sensors in the world. They are quite small. You can see here 1 over 3.1 inches, 1 over 3.94 inches. These are relatively small sensors. They're not the best sensors, not the best hardware in the world. In some ways, basically, let's just put it this way. A lot of the hardware is getting smaller but newer. So they're trying to kind of maintain that camera quality while being able to make the device even thinner. Now, what I'm told, and this is not super shocking, the camera performance is quite solid. Google is continuing to work on their pipeline and their processing, and it's going to work. It's going to take quite decent photos that, from what I'm being told again, compete with OnePlus Open, compete with the Galaxy Z Fold 6. You're not going to have a Pixel Fold 2 with just like a crummy camera. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be the best hardware, but with the software, it's going to perform quite admirably. Another place where maybe they're pushing towards that thinness a little bit too much for my liking is with the battery. It's actually getting smaller. We're losing a couple hundred milliamp hours in overall size, but from what I'm being told here, the battery performance is pretty decent, able to make it through a full day of relatively heavy use. Now, yes, the charging speed still not great, 27 watts. It's much slower than OnePlus, but it's right there with where it was last year. It's right there with the Galaxy Z Fold 6, so it's not a problem, Unless, of course, you're used to the OnePlus Open, in which case it's going to feel like it takes an eternity to charge. Now, the last thing I kind of want to touch on here is the hinge and the crease. We all saw these images from the NCC, basically the FCC from, what was it, Indonesia? I don't actually remember where that was from, but it was a bunch of really high quality leaks of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. And in these images, man, oh man, did it look like that crease looked amazing. And unfortunately, I have to tell you, that it doesn't actually look this good in real life. Perhaps this was a brand new device that had just not been folded ever, and that's why it looked like this. Maybe it's just the camera angles. I don't really know what to tell you. But in real life, the crease is going to look remarkably similar to how it looked or looks on the original Pixel Fold. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not the worst crease in the world. I've definitely seen worse, but if you were hoping that you were going to be getting some just incredibly reduced crease, that is not going to be happening with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But as you can see, this device is folding totally flat, and that is something that you can indeed look forward to. I'm told that it does fold completely flat. It's not got the same issues hinge-wise that the original Pixel Fold did and continues to have. Now, I will say, strangely, my replacement model, because I had to have my Pixel Fold replaced, it does still seem to fold flatter than my original did. Not really sure what to make of that, but I know a lot of you have Pixel Folds that don't really like to fold flat. The new one should be able to do that much more easily. So guys, nothing particularly earth-shattering with these revelations, but I do think that each of these things are interesting, and they continue to sort of paint the full picture of what you should be expecting out of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. And it's a device that, from what I can tell, isn't going to blow anybody away with that spec sheet. I mean, yeah, we know it's the Tensor G4. We don't really know much about what that's going to truly mean. We know that it's got 16 gigs of RAM. We can speculate about why maybe that would be. But yeah, the camera hardware isn't necessarily the most amazing in the world, but it's going to come down to, like all Google phones, or most of them, it's going to come down to that Google Pixel software, and I am a sucker for that Pixel software. I remain extremely disappointed that we are going to be abandoning the short aspect ratio screen that we have on the original Pixel Fold, and by virtue of that, abandoning the wider than it is tall, the tablet style layout here we have with the original Pixel Fold, and instead going to something like the OnePlus Open, which is basically just a normal phone that opens up into a sort of square tablet type thing, which is going to be good for multitasking. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be fine. It's just not going to be what I want. It's not going to be what I'm used to. I'm trying to just slowly get over it and convince myself that it's still going to be probably a really good phone. I mean, if I'm being honest, I've got the Z Fold 6 and it did not really sway me. I've gone through my review period and I'm going to check back in with the Z Fold 6. It's literally right back here. I'm going to check in on it from time to time, but it's not something I'm going to daily drive. I'm back to the Open / Pixel Fold back and forth thing I've been doing for months, and there is a chance that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold will be the device to pull me permanently away from my OnePlus Open. Again, though, we don't have long to wait. August the 13th is the date. You're going to want to be subscribed to this very channel because I will be live for that event, breaking it all down and reacting to it with you guys in real time. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe for that content. I'll see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.